Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Go, Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Welcome again to our Sunday evening festivities here. We're going to read in the Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Pretty famous book. You've all heard of it, right? This is the last verse of the 5th chapter, Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the senior reading from the 5th chapter, text 29. Many of you probably know this verse. You can repeat after me. Bhoktram yagatapasang sarvaloka maheswaram suradam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim rujyati. So Krishna says, a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. Purport. The conditioned souls within the clutches of the illusory energy are all anxious to attain peace in the material world, but they do not know the formula for peace, which is explained in this part of the Bhagavad Gita. The greatest peace formula is simply this. Lord Krishna is the beneficiary in all human activities. Men should offer everything to the transcendental service of the Lord, because He is the proprietor of all planets and demigods thereon. No one is greater than He. He is greater than the greatest of the demigods, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. In the Vedas, Svetasvatara Upanishad 6-7, the Supreme Lord is described as Tamishranam Paramam Heshwaram. Under the spell of illusion, living entities are trying to be lords of all they survey, but actually they are dominated by the material energy of the Lord. The Lord is the master of material nature, and the conditioned souls are under the stringent rules of material nature. Unless one understands these bare facts, it is not possible to achieve peace in the world, either individually or collectively. This is the sense of Krishna consciousness. Lord Krishna is the supreme predominator, and all living entities, including the great demigods, are His subordinates. One can attain perfect peace only in complete Krishna consciousness. Om Jnanatamārandasya Gnanjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukram Kurtavacha Lang Pangun Langayate Gurim Yat Kripataraham Vande Shigurum Dinataranam Vanchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvyevacha Paditanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So here we're hearing how Krishna, He is the beneficiary, He is the supreme enjoyer. In this world, everybody wants to be the enjoyer. It's natural. The nature of the soul is eternality, knowledge, and bliss. So we all want happiness. But unfortunately, people are going about it in the wrong way. They're trying to be happy, separate from Krishna. So therefore, there's a statement in the srimadbhagavatam, Hrida Lada Karpitari, that whatever one tries to enjoy in this world, that very thing one is trying to enjoy becomes a cause of suffering. So that's the nature of this world, and therefore there's so much suffering. Krishna says, Dukkhalayam aseshvara, that this is a place of suffering. We don't want that. So if we act for the pleasure of Krishna, if we try to please Krishna, then we can enjoy. Yeah. It's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna, he's also a sense enjoyer. He enjoys his senses. He has senses. He's a person. Many people have this illusion that God is just some energy, or he's some emotion, he's love, or he's energy, or he's space. But ultimately, it's true. All this is true. But he's a person. He's a person, and he has likes and dislikes. And in the Bhagavad Gita, he explains, what he likes. If one offers to me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I'll accept it. Krishna is vegetarian. So this is why we're vegetarian. If Krishna said, offer me meat, we would eat meat. Krishna, he doesn't like meat. So if we act to please Krishna, then we can actually enjoy. We can also enjoy our senses. Just like we had a nice kirtan just now. We were hearing nice music, dancing. This is sense gratification. But it's not material. It's spiritual sense gratification. And Krishna also, he only engages in spiritual sense gratification, not material sense gratification. Just like there's one instance in the Mahabharata, before the Battle of Kurukshetra, one person invited Krishna to try to win his favor. His name is Duryodhana. He invited Krishna, and a big feast was made for Krishna. Try to win his favor. Krishna didn't take one bite. Not one bite, nothing, because it wasn't offered with love. Krishna accepts things that are offered with love. And Duryodhana, this person, was such a rascal, then he tried to capture Krishna. Imagine trying to capture God. There was somebody else that tried to capture God. Who was that? And actually did. Yasoda captured God. But that's because there was love. This is Krishna's pastime. Only one who has love for Krishna can capture Krishna. So this bhakti process is about capturing Krishna. And Krishna capturing us. We want to be captured by Krishna. And how is that possible? By hearing about Krishna. But not just hearing, we had to be very attentive. One of the offenses to chanting the name of Krishna is to be inattentive. So in reading about Krishna also, we had to be very attentive. And if we're attentive in hearing about Krishna, then we become attracted to Krishna. And then we become attached to Krishna. And then we become addicted to Krishna. These are the 4 A's. First one is we have to be very attentive. It's difficult in this age because the mind is very flickering. It's going here and going there, always. Very difficult to control the mind. But Krishna says it's possible by constant practice and by detachment. Practice. It's like there's the saying, practice makes perfect. Right? So practice. Hearing about Krishna, chanting his names. And then eventually we'll become attracted and attached and addicted to Krishna. So he's the enjoyer. And he's also the the friend. All of us like to have best friends, right? Oh, it's isn't it? But Krishna, actually, he's everyone's best friend. He's always thinking of our welfare. And Krishna, he's such a good friend that someone can become the president of the atheist society in America, and Krishna still will be by his side waiting for him to turn to him again. That's Krishna. Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing that we can do by which Krishna will turn away from us. If we offend his pure devotee, that is very disturbing to Krishna. But still, Krishna, he'll punish, but he'll tolerate, and still his best wishes are there. So he's a very good friend. And he's the proprietor of everything. Krishna owns everything. He's very wealthy. Everybody wants wealth, isn't it? There's one story of a saintly person. He was in one village, and a poor man went to him, and he said to this saintly person, "Why am I so poor?" So the saintly person said, "It's because you don't give charity." "How can I give charity? I don't have anything. I'm so poor I can't give charity." No. You have 5 things that are very valuable on your face. You have a mouth. You can smile at people. Just smiling at people can change a person's life. Turn to the person next to you and smile. And even better than smiling is laughing. And doctors have found that if people laugh a lot, they live a long life. And it has amazing, it just has an amazing way of increasing one's health. Yeah. Laughing. And therefore there's over 100,000, it's called laughing yoga groups. Yeah. So he told this poor man, smile, laugh, and you'll do amazing things for people and for yourself. And you have your eyes. Just looking at people compassionately can have results in people's lives. And you have your mouth. You can speak. You can speak in a way that is pleasing and can help others. Just like Krishna, he says in the Bhagavad Gita, that there's 5 austerities of speech. To speak that which is pleasing, to speak that which is beneficial, to speak that which is truthful, to repeat the Vedic literatures, and to speak in a way that does not disturb others. These are the austerities of speech. So especially if you speak what is in the Vedas, you can help so many people. Prabhupada told a disciple that if you follow this process for 12 years, whatever you say will be purified. People will appreciate. So speaking the Vedas is very beneficial. And he said, and you have your body. You can use your body to help others. I have a service, as it was mentioned, I distribute books. And this service, I'm using my body, I use my words, and I smile a lot. Because it's a very nice service. I smile so much that sometimes, believe it or not, I have to massage. We have smile muscles. Did you know that? And if you smile a lot, they get sore. Isn't that a nice problem to have? Your smile muscles get sore, and you got to massage. It's a nice problem, yeah. So we can use our body to help others. And this saintly person said, you can use your heart. So you have these 5 very valuable things. Yeah. So you're not poor. Just like it said that you find out how wealthy you are when you find out how many very valuable things you have that money can't buy. Now, what is a very valuable thing that money can't buy? Friendship. We all want friendship, right? We live off friendship. If you don't have a friend, it's a rough life. Money can't buy friends. You know, there's a interesting thing that is found, that people that win the lottery, it ruins their life. Because everyone becomes very friendly to you. Because everybody is friendly towards money. So you don't know who your friends are. Right? And you become very wealthy. You don't mix with the people that are already millionaires, because you know you just kind of lucked out, you know. So it's not that you grew up with wealthy people. So you don't fit in with the poor people anymore. You don't fit in with the wealthy people, and you become very lonely. So it actually ruins people's lives when they become multi-millionaire. They win the lottery. Yeah. So friendship, it's a very valuable thing. Money can't buy it. What else? What else is very valuable? Love. Yes, we all want love. Yes. And there's a statement in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that love is selfless. Yeah. And lust is selfish. Love is selfless. Lust is selfish. So this is the difference. Gold and iron. So Lord Chaitanya, he said, Prema dana vinavyate darid jivan. Dasa gore vitena more deha prema dana. He said, if one does not have love for Krishna, then one is considered to be a poor person. He's playing the role of a devotee, so therefore he goes on saying, therefore, my dear Lord Krishna, please engage me in your service, and all I want as salary is love for you. So to have love for Krishna, this is the highest love, because if you love Krishna, then automatically you love everyone. Yeah. Not only humans, but you love all living entities. I'll tell you an interesting pastime of Prabhupada. Prabhupada was in India, and he was on his way to Mayapur. And before they would before they would go to Mayapur, they would stop at this place called, it was a mango grove, and they would have a picnic, practically every time that they would go from Calcutta to Mayapur. So they were having a picnic in this mango grove. And some dogs came by, barking. Then devotees got up and they started throwing rocks. Prabhupada said, stop. And he started throwing chapatis. Prabhupada said, these aren't ordinary dogs. Yeah. So he saw them as souls. So everybody is a soul. Yeah. Everyone is actually part of Krishna. So a devotee tries to see in that way and tries to help. There was another instance in Hawaii. There was one devotee that was cleaning Prabhupada's room, and on the table he saw a very unusual looking bug. And he said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, look at this unusual looking bug. And Prabhupada came over and he was looking at it too. And Prabhupada said, yeah, very unusual. Now Prabhupada said, now chant to the poor thing. Because he saw it as a soul in an unusual bug body. So he wanted to benefit this soul. He wants to benefit everyone. And therefore, this book distribution, Prabhupada, he considered this to be the most important activity in ISKCON, because by book distribution people get an opportunity to hear about Krishna. There's so many books, millions of books all over the world, but they don't get a chance to hear about Krishna from reading this, and thus they don't get to advance in spiritual life, because they're hearing so many books that no benefit. No benefit. So by people reading Prabhupada's books, they benefit so much. They get an opportunity to actually become wealthy. If one has knowledge also, one is wealthy. Jnanena tutat ajnanam yesam nasanam atmana tesam aditya prakasi tapram. Krishna, he says that when one is enlightened with knowledge by which ignorance is destroyed, that knowledge reveals everything. Just as the sun, when it rises, it reveals everything. So this is the power of this knowledge, that everything is revealed. And what is everything? Everything is matter, spirit, and the controller of both, Krishna. That's everything. So this becomes revealed to us as we engage in this devotional process. So I didn't finish the purport. What time is it now? Okay, we got some time. So this is the words of a pure devotee. Prabhupada came to give us this very valuable knowledge, by which, if we hear attentively, we can become liberated. So let's listen attentively. This 5th chapter is a practical explanation of Krishna consciousness, generally known as karma yoga. Now, there's a lot of people have a misunderstanding about karma. There's 3 types of karma. There's karma, there's vikarma, and there's akarma. And Prabhupada says in one purport that the entire Bhagavad Gita is about these 3 karmas. The entire Bhagavad Gita. So karma means activity. Now we've all heard that, what goes around comes around, karma. Right? Good karma, bad karma. So karma simply means activity. Vikarma means activity by which you get a reaction, a negative reaction. Sinful activity. You get a negative reaction. And akarma means pure activity, by which you don't get a negative reaction. Now there's karma by what you do. You do something favorable. Let's say you do some charity. Now you get a reaction for that. You get something good from that. But that means you have to come back in your next life to get that good reaction. So a devotee doesn't want to come back. We don't want to come back. So akarma means pure activity, only acting for Krishna. Now if we learn to act like that, then we don't come back again to the material world. That's the goal. To become so pure in our activities that we go back to Krishna, back to the spiritual world. Not an easy thing to achieve, but possible. Prabhupada used to say it just depends on our sincerity. Sincerity and seriousness. If we're serious and sincere. So these two words are very similar, isn't it? So I had to look them up. What's the difference? So sincere means genuine. Genuine. It's like sometimes people do things with a selfish motive, like like practically all the time. We do things with a selfish motive. Yeah. So if we do things for Krishna with no motive other than to please Krishna, then Krishna is very pleased and we get purified. And therefore, one of the most important books, one of the most important verses in one of our most important books, Srimadbhagavatam, it stated, Savai pungsang paro dharmo yato bhakti ardhoksaje haiti kapayatita yayama suprasiditi, that the supreme occupational duty for all mankind is that by which one can engage in loving service to Krishna. And such service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. So this is how to attain satisfaction to Krishna. Unmotivated, uninterrupted service to Krishna. So this is akarma. This is pure activity. The question of mental speculation as to how karma yoga can give liberation is answered herewith. To work in Krishna consciousness is to work with a complete knowledge of the Lord as the predominator. Such work is not different from transcendental knowledge. Direct Krishna consciousness is bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga is a path leading to bhakti yoga. Krishna consciousness means to work in full knowledge of one's relationship with the Supreme Absolute, and the perfection of this consciousness is in full knowledge of Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This brings to mind one pastime of Lord Chaitanya. He was telling of a similar story to what I just told you. There was an astrologer who was in one village, and he was going door to door and he would help people. He also had some medical abilities to help people. So he did one poor man's astrological chart. He did his palm. And he said to him, you know, a great treasure has been left for you. And the poor man was, oh, good news. This is good to hear. So the astrologer, his name was Sarvagya. So the astrologer said, but be very careful. When you go for this treasure, if you dig in the southern area of where this treasure is, you're going to be attacked by bees. And they're going to cause so much disturbance to you that you won't be able to get the treasure. Yeah, but then, if you dig on the western side, you're going to be bewildered by ghosts. So many ghosts. And they're going to scare you so much, you won't be able to get the treasure. If you dig on the northern side of where the treasure is, there's a big black snake there. And he's going to devour you. So be careful. Okay. But he said, but if you dig on the eastern side, there you will find the treasure. And you'll derive so much happiness from this treasure. So that treasure is devotional service. That's what gives pleasure to the soul. So the southern side, compared to being bitten by the bees, this is fruitive activities. People who engage in fruitive activities, they get harassed by material life in general, just trying to enjoy this world. Yeah. People experience so much distress. Yeah. It's like I was speaking to one student and saying how this material world, it has some defects. For instance, people have a cheating mentality. This is one of the defects of the conditioned soul. Have a tendency to cheat, to imperfect senses, tendency to be an illusion, and imperfect senses. Right? Yeah. So, I was telling this student that this is the problem with as conditioned souls, and he said, oh yeah, he had just read in the newspaper that there was one psychiatrist who was treating one patient, and this patient had about 8 different split personalities. So this psychiatrist had a brilliant idea and decided to charge each of them. And one of the split personalities had enough intelligence to take him to court. And the judge couldn't believe it. Took away his license and he had to go to jail for 2 years. So this is the cheating mentality. People get stung. You know, you get stung in this world in so many ways. Yeah. So, and even in relationships, yeah. Even in relationships, sometimes you get stung. And those are the most painful stings. Right? Your own family members, your own friends. And then the ghost, that's compared to jnana. Gyan, people get this knowledge. They get so much knowledge. But if people don't get bhakti, if they don't get love for Krishna, then it causes great disturbance. There's so much speculation, and therefore they don't achieve the goal of life. They become frustrated. Gyan. And then the black snake, that's compared to this yogic. These yogis, yeah, mystic perfections. They get so many mystic perfections, and they become bewildered by pride and take advantage of people, cheat people, many of them. But bhakti, this is the goal. This is where the wealth is. If you want to be very wealthy, then take seriously Krishna consciousness, and you'll find yourself to be very happy with your wealth. So Prabhupada goes on to say here, as long as he is in contact with matter, he has to execute work in terms of material necessities. Krishna consciousness, however, brings one into spiritual life even while one is within the jurisdiction of matter. for it is an arousing of spiritual existence by practice in the material world. The more one is advanced, the more he is freed from the clutches of matter. The Lord is not partial toward anyone. Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness, which helps one control the senses in every respect and conquer the influence of desire and anger. And one who stands fast in Krishna consciousness, controlling the above-mentioned passions, remains factually in the transcendental stage, or Brahma Nirvana. The Eightfold Yoga mysticism is automatically practiced in Krishna consciousness because the ultimate purpose is served. There is a gradual process of elevation in the practice of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. But these only preface perfection by devotional service, which alone can award peace to the human being. It is the highest perfection in life. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any question or comment? Or reflection?
Hare Krishna, thank you for your nice class. Prabhuji, would you talk about your book distribution experience so we can get inspired for book distribution?
Okay.
Okay.
Recently I was distributing books at UCLA campus, and I was speaking to one professor. While I was speaking to him, a Chinese man came to the table. He was about maybe 55 or so. And he said, 30 years ago, an American young man went to Shanghai, and he gave me one of these books about Krishna. I like Krishna very much, he said. I said, oh, that's very nice. You're attracted to Krishna. This is very good. So I said, I have a lot of books here for you. So I gave him the Bhagavad Gita. I gave him the Krishna book and srimadbhagavatam 1:1. And I was giving him more, and he said, oh no, I can't take more. I'm traveling. I have to go back to China. So we were talking, and he was expressing his attraction to Krishna. And I was amazed. This was actually done by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Prabhupada instructed Tamal Krishna Maharaj to go to China. And now there's so many Chinese devotees. And even the Chinese government, they printed the srimadbhagavatam. The government of China printed the srimadbhagavatam. Except for the 10th canto. I think that was too much for him. So then I told this Chinese man, I said, so you can give whatever donation you want, whatever you like to give. He said, I'll give $100. So that was the first time I ever got such a big donation at a university. He was so much appreciating Prabhupada's books. I was distributing books at the university, and a Muslim man came to the table, and I was explaining the Bhagavad Gita to him, and he was showing some interest. But then he said, but if I take this home, my parents will kill me. So I said to him, God is more important than your parents. He was shocked. He was shocked when he heard that. Never heard that before. Parents are important. God's important too, but he never heard that. So he said, but I can't take it. The next day, I'm at my table again, and he comes to me. He said, I'm so happy to see you. You won't believe what happened last night. I'm sleeping. I have a dream. And my parents have become very cruel to me. Mean, cruel. And then the Bhagavad Gita showed up, glowing. And I thought, wow, I think I should get that book. In the dream, he's thinking like that. So then I said, I told you, you see, God is more important. You see, your dream showed that, huh? Parents are cruel to you, and the Bhagavad Gita comes to you glowing. But still he was reluctant to take the book. So I told him, you see, there's the heart and there's the mind. Your heart wants this book. Your mind is giving you some problem. But you're not your mind. You're the soul in the heart. He said, okay, you got me, I'll take it. So he took it. I was distributing books in the Los Angeles airport. And I approached one man. And I was showing the Bhagavad Gita to him. And he was showing some interest. But then he said, nah, I'm not that interested. So I pointed to his head, and I said, up here, you're not that interested. And I pointed to his heart, but here, you're very interested. He said, all right, you got me. Just a few days later, I was distributing books in the LA airport. And I approached one Indian man. And I offered him the Bhagavad Gita. He said, oh, I have something to show you. And I thought he was going to show me another Bhagavad Gita, like, he already has one. He pulled out the Bible. I said, isn't that ironic? I'm American. I'm offering you the Bhagavad Gita. You're Indian, and you're showing me the Bible. Isn't that something? Then I said, I've read the Bible. Have you read the Bhagavad Gita? He said, no. I said, well, you should read the Bhagavad Gita too. He said, okay. So he got the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Actually, I wanted to say something. I don't know if you know yet, but December 7th is World Enlightenment Day. World Enlightenment Day. So that's the day that all the congregational members of our temples, they also go out on book distribution. Hiyo! Haribo? So, this is an important, it's the day, actually it is the day that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. So it's a very auspicious day to go out and distribute Prabhupada's books. And I could tell you, first-hand experience, it's the most wonderful activity you'll do. Giving Krishna to others gives pleasure to the heart and to the mind even. So it's not far away. Every year in Los Angeles temple we have a big thing. All the congregational members and devotees would go out and distribute thousands of books. So here also, please, get the mercy, give the mercy of Krishna, and get the mercy by giving the mercy of Krishna. Oh, he had a question, yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I had a conversation with someone, and they brought up a question to me that I couldn't answer. I've had a head injury, and I've been restudying the Bhagavad Gita, and he brought up the wars and that people were told to kill in the name of Krishna during the wars, and then he said that wouldn't they still have karma because they killed in the name of Krishna, and just that one
In the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
Yes, yes.
Actually, that was a dharmic war. That was a war trying to promote dharma, because Yudhisthira was a righteous personality who actually was meant to be the king, but Duryodhana and family Dhritarashtra and all them, they usurped the kingdom. So Krishna wanted, actually Yudhisthira, he's Dharmaraj. So, that was a righteous war to stop evil. So sometimes to bring peace, it's like what this verse is about peace. Sometimes to find peace there has to be violence. Similar when Hitler was here, when he was, he basically wanted to take over the world. We would all be speaking German here probably if he hadn't been stopped. So there was necessity, and I don't think anybody could have gone and preached to him. They listen. Hitler, it's not so nice that you're doing this. Maybe you should, calm down. No, he had to be stopped with violence. So sometimes, as Prabhupada says in the purport in the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes violence is necessary where good arguments fail. And you couldn't even, you couldn't even have a conversation like about this with Hitler, or Duryodhana. Actually, Krishna, just see how amazing Krishna is. He was sent to Duryodhana and family to try to convince them to avoid the war. And he said to Duryodhana, just give them a village. They're Kshatriyas. They're managers. Just give them a village. Each of them a village. And what was Duryodhana's reply? I will not give the amount of land that the tip of a pin will go on. This was Duryodhana. This is who they were dealing with. So Krishna went as a messenger, mediator. Krishna was the original mediator. So sometimes it's necessary.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Krishna.
I just have a quick question. Thank you for the nice lecture. You mentioned sincerity and seriousness, but I don't think you gave the definition in comparison with seriousness.
Oh, very good. He's listening. He's attentive. Very attentive. Very good. So sincere is serious, is thoughtful. Thoughtful. Prabhupada's books are so deep. These aren't books that you just read through. No, these books are so amazing. You read something and let it sink in, and contemplate it. These books are just so... I've read the Bhagavad Gita at least, 30 times. And it still doesn't... It's timeless wisdom. Doesn't get old. Prabhupada says in one purport, you can read the Bhagavad Gita and srimadbhagavatam thousands of times. And each time you read it, you're going to get new insight in the subject matter. This is transcendental knowledge. Most books you read it once or twice, maybe 3 times. But these books, you can read it over and over and over and over again, and it's so sweet each time. Why? Because each time you read it, you're on another level of consciousness. You're going closer to Krishna. And it just gets sweeter and sweeter. So thoughtful. Anything else? Okay, I think it's time. Thank you very much.